The first speaker to go, the post-high tea session, will be Dr. Chandan Chowdhury, ladies and gentlemen. Because the strength is less, I really want you to give your best claps possible to welcome him on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Let's show our best energies to welcome Dr. Chandan Chowdhury, VP Global Affairs and Business Development, Dassault Systems. Welcome, sir. He'll be here to talk on digital transformation for driving revenue and improving margin and sharing his experiences from automotive industries. Welcome, sir. Please, another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir.
So good afternoon, all of you. I'm happy to see that we still have a few people who are attending the forum, but good news is this is also online, so I have been told by the organizers that there are thousands and thousands of people who are online viewing it right now. So friends, the topic is very interesting because we are talking about digital transformation. But what's special about what we are going to discuss next couple of minutes is that these digital transformation initiatives will be for the purpose of driving revenue, because majority of the companies globally in the automotive sector, both OEM and suppliers, they're having big challenge as far as growing their revenue in a sustainable manner is concerned. So how do you drive your revenue and how do you transform your margin? By leveraging digital transformation. So that's what is going to be the focus of my talk. Now, I have been interacting with many of you and many companies in different parts of the world, both OEM and suppliers. And a couple of questions which are very, very common and which they keep asking, one of them being, how do we transform the customer experience? How do we transform the way we engage with customers? So that is something which companies have realized is extremely critical, because if you want to drive your revenue and if you want to improve your margin, if you want to have sustainable growth, it isn't enough if you have just product and services. So engagement process got to be different. So this is one common question that we keep hearing. The second thing being, how do we really reduce the time that you take to launch new product is another topic which is receiving a lot of attention. Now friends, I also wanted to share with you that it's not just new models. How do you really keep launching various variants of models is another topic which is receiving a lot of attention from corporate. Now friends, companies, as we know, are not just competing with companies. Is the value chain of a company which is competing with the value chain of their competitor. So the question of, how do you improve the way you collaborate is another topic which is of interest. Now people have been talking about improving quality. So the discussion is not on how do you improve quality, the discussion is on how do you improve the quality very, very significantly while reducing the cost very significantly. And that becomes really very, very interesting, involves a lot of innovation. Now, one thing people have realized that you cannot afford to make mistakes in the physical world, or you got to make an attempt, we got to make an attempt to see how do we do our experimentation in the virtual world, in the digital world, to ensure that when we do it in the physical world, we get it right the first time. And the overall, the buying experience is one area, a lot of research going on. How do you improve the buying experience and how do you improve the experience which is after sales, right? So these are again very interesting questions. Now, all this would really involve that factories are agile, processes are agile, the innovation process whatever that may be, right, got to go through acceleration. And it's very important that customer is not disconnected. We involve the customer in the innovation process. It's very important that we understand the sentiment of the customer, and we are able to integrate the sentiment of the customers, the aspirations of the customers in our innovation process. One or two words about the trends in the market. Well, green and sustainability is a major focus in different parts of the world, including in our country, which definitely needs attention, because right now this conference is happening in NCR, and all of us know Delhi is one of the most polluted cities of the world. When people talk about safety, the discussion is not about safety of just the driver and the passenger. It's also the safety of the pedestrian. Now, overall, if you look at the trend, and if you look at the challenges, well, people are talking about how do you reduce the carbon footprint in the process of your entire process, right from the beginning till you serve the end consumer. People are talking about technological innovations. People are talking about using science, leveraging science for the purpose of optimization such that you come out with the best possible solution. There's also a lot of discussion on how you save on materials, because materials is a major cost. And there are several examples, several case studies where we have been able to demonstrate you can reduce the weight. At the same time, you can increase the reliability and the confidence that you have in your product. Now, many innovative projects are going on world over, and these projects are done by diverse type of industries, right from Walmart to Volvo. And even city owners are talking about providing mobile services, providing transportation and mobility services which are sustainable. So we are seeing very interesting changes and disruption. There has been a lot of discussion from morning onwards about customer experience. I think we need to take cognizance of the fact that we live in the age of experience, hence various disciplines we talk about got to go through transformation. People cannot be just talking about delivering product, but people today are talking about mass customization. Now I wanted to share with you the three angles, right? One challenge is diversity. So you see multiple models and multiple variants, and the frequency at which you have to roll them out has actually increased. So you have the subject of diversity, you have the subject of frequency, and you have the third angle where you find that players are acquiring new companies, companies are getting merged, your operations are not only multi-site, but they are also multi-country. So how do you really talk about from mass production to mass customization? How do you switch from product to delivering experiences? And how do you talk about designing anywhere in the world, creating an environment which is collaborative? How do you leverage digital for this purpose? And how do you manufacture anywhere you want, and then you deliver your product to the ultimate end consumer? Now friends, I'd like to share with you the whole discussion which our Prime Minister is doing in the context of Make in India, that if Make in India got to be successful, then companies in our country got to produce goods with zero defect and with zero effect, meaning minimal or no adverse impact on the environment. And we are associated right now with in different countries, with different companies, and these are very interesting challenges. I would like to share with you that this target zero defect is no more just a concept, but it is getting translated into an actual reality in many organizations in the world. Now schematically, if you look at automobile today, they are not just mechanical. They are today more of software, more of high tech than mechanical. So it's actually a combination of electrical, electronics, mechanical. And all of us know that there is a lot of discussion happening on electric vehicle, on autonomous vehicle. I attended a week session in Delhi, which was called Smart Grid Week. And in the Smart Grid Week, there was discussion on what is going to be the load on our electric grid in next 3 to 5 years because of use of electric vehicles. So discussions are happening in the context of smart grid, use of electric vehicle, and the additional load which is expected on the national grid. And I want to share with you just one highlight of one of the projects from a company called Akka. So they have teams sitting in Germany and teams sitting in France. Both the teams are designing car, and the car is getting designed on the cloud in a collaborative
It is actually
platform.
interesting to see what the Akka Technology Group has realized with Link and Go concept, because a lot of people are talking about the autonomous car, but you don't see so many concrete realization. And what is really interesting here is that this concept, Link and Go, is a nice combination between a good product concept with, at the same time, all the services that the consumer will expect when he will actually drive an autonomous car.
So it's not just the car, but the services that the car provides, and these vehicles are expected to be connected. 3D printing is another area which is transforming the way manufacturing is going to happen. In fact, Hero has taken a lot of initiative, and I understand they have probably one of the largest 3D printing facilities of Asia. And today, when you actually talk about designing a two-wheeler, you could design it, you could experience it, you could digitally manufacture it. And Vijay during his talk was talking about it, about digital manufacturing, and you could probably put a digital driver with a digital passenger and experience it, that how it's going to happen. We did a lot of work with BMW, for example, and they have been very, very passionate about how do you reduce the physical prototype, right? They have been promoting the concept of zero physical prototype. And kind of experiments you can do in the digital world, you just can't even imagine of doing some of those experiments in the physical world. Not just the cycle time is going to be long, not just that it's going to be expensive, but even the flexibility of what you can try out, the kind of if-then scenarios you can do. So there has been a couple of sessions. There were a couple of sessions which were touching the topic of augmented and virtual reality. In fact, when augmented and virtual reality is coupled with science, it can create huge value to consumers. And the gap between the virtual world and the digital world is reducing. What you experience in the physical world and what you experience in the digital world, the gap is reducing because of leveraging science. You can actually figure out what's going to happen to your airbag. Will it open up in the event of an accident? Now, friends, I wanted to share with you that the kind of geometry that you can come out, you can think of magic geometries, right, which is absolutely optimized but delivering reliability and the function that you want your product to deliver. So 3D printing, I think, it has removed what you call the constraint of geometry. And this is going to transform the manufacturing sector. We are working with many automobile manufacturers, both OEM and suppliers, in the area of 3D printing. I think additive manufacturing is going to make phenomenal contribution in the years to come. Now, friends, I would just like to sum up. So if you look at the discipline of design in the age of experience, if you look at the discipline of manufacturing in the age of experience, if you look at the discipline of marketing in the age of experience. And if you look at the discipline of science in the age of experience, I think all of them would go through transformation, and augmented virtual reality coupled with science is going to make a huge difference, a huge impact, and it is going to help companies to come out with products which are innovative, products which will provide unique experiences to end consumers. This kind of technologies are going to help companies to have sustainable growth. It's going to help companies to drive their revenue and transform their margin. And I think it's going to bring about digital continuity between various disciplines and processes. You will be able to arrest information leakage, and you will be able to maximize the value you create for consumers. Now friends, for example, when you talk about material, using a material, today people don't talk about using a material. You talk about what is your intended function. And you talk about creating a material. You talk about creating a material which serves your intended function. So I think material science is one area where we see a lot of research happening. Many companies are actually leveraging the new way of looking at the subject of materials. To sum up, it's very important when you talk about digital transformation that we need to understand the challenges of running business in the age of experience. I think it's very important to create innovation culture, also a culture wherein you don't talk about innovation in isolation, but you talk about innovation wherein you are connected with the end consumer. Your end consumer is a part of your innovation process. We are trying to create a lot of awareness about how you can leverage scientific tools, how you can leverage augmented reality, virtual reality, how augmented and virtual reality coupled with science can create a lot of value. How can you really convert the concept of zero defect and zero effect and manufacturing right the first time into a realistic possibility? We are trying to create a lot of awareness in corporate about the benefit of creating virtual twin. In fact, Vijay made a very good presentation, and I know the kind of work many companies are doing, and we are privileged to collaborate many of these companies because our learning has been phenomenal while interacting with our customers. Thank you very much.